Let's talk about John Lewis right now. John Lewis, by the way, who marched in 1963 in the civil rights movement. John Lewis, who fought racial segregation in the United States. In 65, he led the first of 3 Selma to Montgomery marches across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. He almost lost his life for doing what he thought was right. This man was a hero, legendary hero, what he did for minorities and African Americans, okay? I want you to have a listen to what Donald Trump said just days after the legendary civil rights activist and hero John Lewis passes away in this interview on Axios. Have a listen to this.
John Lewis is lying in state in the U.S. Capitol. How do you think history will remember John Lewis?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know John Lewis. He chose not to come to my inauguration. He chose. I never met John Lewis, actually. I don't believe.
Do you find him impressive?
I can't say one way or the other. I find a lot of people impressive. I find many people not impressive. But no, but I didn't go.
Do you find his story impressive?
He didn't come to my inauguration. He didn't come to my State of the Union speeches. And that's okay. That's his right.
Okay, so here's my response to that. And I have a lot to say, JD. First of all, Donald Trump doesn't know how people should remember John Lewis. He doesn't know. Donald Trump can't call the man impressive, at the very least, for what he did for civil rights in this country. He made it about himself, which is what Donald Trump always did. He did the same thing when John McCain passed away. Remember when he wanted congratulatory, remarks from the McCain family for what he did for John McCain's funeral? He's doing the same thing again. He's making it about himself. And instead of showing any class for the man, the hero, the civil rights activist, that is John Lewis, what does Donald Trump do? He turns it into himself. Well, he didn't go to my inauguration. Guess what? John Lewis didn't go to George W. Bush's inauguration either. But guess who spoke at John Lewis's funeral? George W. Bush, because George W. Bush showed class. The fact that anybody could defend this answer is disgusting to me. He said, and again, nobody has done more for black Americans than I have. When he brought up John Lewis in this interview, we played some of that. That's what Donald Trump said. Comparing himself to John Lewis, Donald Trump said, again, nobody has done more for black Americans than I have. He should have come, talking about the inauguration. I think he made a big mistake. He should have come. So Donald Trump not giving John Lewis any accolades for what he's done in regards to African Americans, but Trump making it about himself, making it about how John Lewis wouldn't go to his inauguration, which, by the way, many people haven't gone to presidents' inaugurations. George W. Bush was one of them. Nobody has done more for black Americans than I have when the subject of race and John Lewis came up. I find this to be utterly disgusting. It is classic Donald Trump. Nobody should be okay with it. We could disagree on politics. We could disagree on the way he's handled the virus. Nobody should disagree with this. The way Donald Trump answered this question was disgusting. He's the president of the United States. He showed a complete lack of class.
He also, and then that interview was continued, and Swan said, but taking your relationship with him out of it, do you find his story impressive, what he's done for the country? And Trump said he was a person that devoted a lot of energy and a lot of heart to civil rights, but there were many others also.
Yeah, exactly. So he's minimizing what John Lewis did, but there were many others.
He's just saying he's one of many who did what he did.
You don't think he's minimizing him at all?
And later in the interview, he said that the Edmund, what's the bridge called?
Yes.
The Selma Bridge, he said that he had no issue with that being renamed after John Lewis as well.
So you don't think you're okay with the way he responded to John Lewis with those questions? You have no problem with that at all?
Well, he definitely made it about himself. And as president of the United States, he should not do that.
Why did he have to bring up the inauguration, JD? Why even bring that up? Why not? Okay.
Well, I'm sure John Lewis was actively involved in attempting to impeach him. I mean, there's a lot of bad blood between Donald Trump and a lot of Democrats, and vice versa.
Not an excuse, though.
So I'm sure all that is being factored into this, and maybe they had a couple of I don't know, meetings or introductions of some
Trump
sort.
Said he never spoke with him.
Well, okay, maybe something happened where Donald Trump had an issue with the way that John Lewis handled. I have no idea.
It's not an excuse, though.
As president of the United States, you should take the personal out of that situation.
Which he did the opposite.
You're right, he did.
He did the opposite.
Okay.
All right, let's take some phone calls on that. 702-257-5396. To me, this is He's got a lot of bad character traits. To me, this is the same reason why he went after John McCain, and he said, I don't respect John McCain because he was captured. Now he's talking about John Lewis, and he's holding a grudge because John Lewis didn't go to his inauguration, and he wouldn't answer the fact whether John Lewis was impressive or not. His response, I don't know. And then he made it more about himself, and he said, nobody's done more for black Americans than I have. Oh, really, Mr. President?
Well, I think he was talking about other presidents.
You've done more. Well,
yeah.
In talking about,
and he has actually he's passed quite a bit of legalese and legislation to help African Americans.
Right,
I can go through it. HBCUs, opportunity zones, laxing on business regulations. He's done quite a few things for African Americans.
He hasn't done more than John Lewis
prison.
has.
No, of course he hasn't.
Okay,
but I think he was talking about other presidents, not
so we have full phone lines.
Not every single human being on the face of the earth.